Hey, hello everyone. Hope all of you can see my screen and hope all of you can hear me. Can I have a quick confirmation? Everyone?
Yes,
Okay.
Murli.
So let's start with our discussion again. I believe we have completed our special purpose domain. All the special purpose domains are done, correct? So we ideally need to start our events. Under that, we need to start with our very first thing, which is nothing but the adverse events. Okay. So today we will start with the adverse events domain, and we will proceed with the all the terminology, and then we'll see some of the examples, and then we'll go with the coding part, SDTM guidelines. Okay, this is how we proceed. All right. So, any questions before we go with this particular one? Anyone? Any questions? So, before I start with adverse events domain, all right. Hope all good. Right. Now, today we are going to start adverse events. So, before I go with this particular one, can someone please tell me what exactly this adverse events is all about? Can someone? What is your view about adverse events? Any idea what exactly it will capture or what exactly it is? Okay, let me start. Event is nothing but something happened, correct? Something is about to happen or something is already happened. So adverse event is mainly talk about two things. We have some pre-specified list of terms. What is that? It primarily captures two things. What are them? Either it will capture my pre-specified terms, that too pre-specified list of terms. So who will define this? As per the guidelines, there are multiple guidelines we are going to follow. So as per the guidelines in the clinical trials, we have some pre-specified list of terms. Either we can go with them. If not, it also going to capture free text. Free text is nothing but or whatever the investigator would like to provide or would like to give the comments. Those comments we are going to capture. So in the adverse events domain, it primarily to capture or it captures either of these two, any of the pre-specified list of terms or of the free text. So overall, the only objective of this particular adverse events domain is whatever the investigator wants to provide as a comment or whatever the investigator want to give the some event happen and he want to record that particular one, he or she want to record particular one, those details will present there. All right. So most of the times these will be any untoward medical occurrences. These are untoward, these are maybe these are not planned, correct? These are any untoward medical occurrences that are happened to the patient. All right, in a patient, those also we are going to capture. Main thing we need to understand here is whatever these events or whatever these occurrences may not need to have or not necessarily just a second, sorry about it, need to not necessarily have to have a casual relationship with this particular study drug or with this particular treatment. Mean to say, maybe those are related to this particular treatment that we are going with. That is one case. Second, may not to have any relationship with the treatment that is happening. That is simply we can write it. May not have a relation to the treatment. You guys understanding what I'm trying to say here? What and all it captures I'm trying to say. Number one, either a free text which is provided by the investigator or clinician, or it is also going to provide the details about the pre-specified list of terms. Then Still, if I want to understand what exactly it is going to capture, I can say that any untoward medical occurrences in a patient, or we can also call it as a clinical investigation subject. Both of them are same, right? Anything which we have not planned, but it happened, right? For an example, we are going with this particular treatment. Suddenly, the subject got fever, right? Subject got vomiting sensation, or subject got diarrhea. These are all not the unforeseen occurrences, but these are happened. We need to record them, right? And again, the fever is not going to be the, I can say, the reaction for the treatment that we are giving, but the subject got the fever. It doesn't have any relation to the treatment, but still the subject got this particular event. That event occurred, but still we are going to record this particular one. So captures pre-specified list of terms. It also captures the free text. What exactly meaning of this pre-specified list of terms means is there will be specified terms which are already defined, or a simple free flow text which is given by the investigator. Right? Any occurrence that is not foreseen may happen as part of the clinical study, and that particular event may or may not have a relationship with the treatment as well, but still we are going to record them, right? So what is going to be the nature of this particular data set, or what is going to be the nature of this particular domain? I can say that the nature is going to be, I can say, one record per adverse event per subject. You understand this particular one, right? You maintain the track of this particular one. So if you go to the demographic domain will only have one record per subject, correct? If you go with your subject element, one record per element per subject. Subject visit, again, one record per visit per subject, correct? So everywhere the nature is going to be there, like how we are actually storing the data, correct? Here it is going to be one record per adverse event per subject. All right, then we, for everything we discuss about the topic variable, correct? So what is going to be the topic variable for this? The topic variable here is going to be AE term, right? It is nothing but a reported term of the event, or we can simply call it as the name of the event. We discuss detail about this little later. Just I'm mentioning what is going to be the topic variable. We also discuss about the identifier variables, correct? We just write them, correct? So the identifier variables for this particular domain are, as usual, there are four. You all know them. Study ID, you are very much aware of this particular one. Study identifier, domain, your 2-character long abbreviation for your domain. USGBJ ID, unique subject identifier. It is a derived variable which is going to be a concatenation of your study identifier, your site name, sorry, your site ID and subject ID, correct? And then here you're going to have one more additional variable. You call it as AESEQ. The SEQ stands for sequence number. We also talk about this in a while. So in a simple nutshell, an identifier variables are going to be four: study identifier, domain, unique subject identifier, and sequence number. Correct? Right. Now let's proceed with our variables definition. So most important part, the variables definition is going to be, let's talk about it. So before that, let me name it. This is going to be adverse events notes. All right. Right. So as usual, we'll go with the basic variables first. The very first variable we always discuss is going to be a study ID. So we don't need to discuss much here because we are all know about it. A study identifier is, a study ID is nothing but the, simply we can call it as a study identifier. Now what is study identifier, guys? Can someone tell me? Who will define this? Anyone? Come on, guys. Protocol number, most of the times it is going to be protocol number. Generally, who will provide this? The question is going to be who give the study identifier. Exactly, wonderful.
Sponsor, right?
Sponsor. Yes, the sponsor, right? The sponsor is the one who is going to provide this particular one, and it is part of your case report form. All right. So second one is going to be domain. It is going to be a domain abbreviation. It is going to be 2 characters long. It is a character, and for adverse events domain, it is going to be AE. Then you have use SEBJ ID, which is nothing but unique subject identifier. Can someone write the formula and give it to me? It is going to be, it is a derived variable. What is this? It is a concatenation of 3 variables. Those are, one is, someone has given these details just now. What is that? Subject identifier, site ID, and your subject ID. Correct? So, your study identifier, site ID, and your subject identifier. What is going to be the subject identifier? SUBJ, correct? So these 3 concatenation is going to be a unique subject identifier. So these are the variables which are carrying for every domain, correct? These 3 are going to be the common variables, and these are part of everything, correct? So since we have talked about the sequential variable here, the sequence number, let's start with this AESUP, which is nothing but your sequence number. If you remember, the same sequence number, we also got it in the subject with your SV domain as well, right? Subject visits also we got it, right? Subject elements also we have the sequence number, right? Everywhere you have the sequence number, correct? So here the sequence number, right? It can be any numeric number, but main criteria is, but it must be unique. And remember, it must be unique at the domain level. What do you mean by that? It can give you, it is going to be a sequence number given to ensure the uniqueness of the subject records within a domain. Sorry, any numeric number, but it must be unique at the subject level. For each subject, it is going to be triggered. I mean to say, there is a patient called 123. This patient has around 10 events. Then my sequence number going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. For each of the event happened, there is going to be a sequence number, right? For an example, if I want to give this an example here, I can simply write it as I have a subject ID, and I also going to have a sequence number. In that particular case, subject ID 111, he have 4 events. In that particular case, I'm going to have 4 unique values here. I'm going to have 4 unique values here. And then I'm going to have another subject ID, let's say 222, but this particular person has only 2 events. Then I can say that the unique number is going to be only 2. Making sense? All of you are able to follow this, right? Everyone? Only the very first variable we are discussing here is nothing but the sequence number. Sequence number is going to be any numeric variable, right? Any numeric number, but it must be unique at the subject level. If you want to write it, I can say that within the domain. Anyways, it is going to be within the domain only, but we are writing it just to give a more clarity there. All right. If you want to see this, there is another example as well here. You can see this. So there is a subject here, PS111. These are the examples we are going to discuss, and you can see that the sequence number is going to be 1, 2, 3. So here the same guy, 3 events, 1, 2, 3. The same guy here, 6 events, and you can see that we have 6 different it is. Is that understandable, guys? Right? So it is all going to be a sequence number. It can be in any order, but it is going to be distinct for each of the subject. Then let's come back. Then we are going to discuss about the next one, which is nothing but our topic variable. Our topic variable is going to be AE term, right? So AE term, simply if someone asks you what exactly is going to be the AE term, I can say that name of the event. That's it. If I want to tell it in a polished way or a proper definition, I can say that it is going to be a reported term for the adverse event. It is a reported term for the adverse event. If you want to say, okay, there is a question from Santosh. Hey Murli, which domain creates first in the real time? Is there any sequence? Ideally, it won't be. There won't be any sequence. We discussed this multiple times, but let me help you with this, Santosh. Let's say your requirement. Let's say that whatever the ACRF, whatever is going to be your requirements that you have got it. Let's say that it involves 5 different domains. There is no need that all the domains will get involved. Correct? Just I'm giving a simple example. There are only 5 domains, right? It involves, and let's say that you are of 2 programs. Only 2 SAS programmers are there. Then your TL will simply say that, hey, out of the 5 domains, so let's someone take 3 domains. Let's say there you have demographic domain. So mostly demographic domain is the very first domain, I can say, because it is going to capture all the subject information. So basically, it will start with a DM in general, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. All right. Then there is going to be subject elements and subject visits. Let's say these 3 anyways belongs to the special purpose domain. Let's say there is a programmer called Santosh. Let's give this to Santosh because he is the one who is taking care of the special purpose domain from most of the times. So he's having good expertise level in this. So let's give it to him. So there is another programmer. Let's say that Mohanty is there. Mohanty is well versed with the adverse event. Most of the time she handled it. And let's say that there is one more guy. Let's say Ankita. Ankita is well versed with the trial domains, right? So let's give all the trial domains to Ankita. Let's give anytime adverse event is involved, let's give it to Mohanty, right? Like this, who is that? Your manager or your team lead is the one who is going to decide it. Suppose if you are working, let's say not all the organization, but some of the organizations are already into this particular Kanban board or into the Zira. They already come to this particular one. That is nothing but this sprint model. If you are part of the sprint model, then your Scrum Master is the guy who is going to decide it. I mean to say that Scrum Master is the one who is going to create all the stories and tasks and the events. Then being a programmer, you are going to split each domain again into the multiple things, right? Multiple small tasks and stories, and individual stories will be picked up by the individual programs, right? Again, Scrum will happen in different ways in the different organizations. Some organizations mention that in the Scrum, there is nothing called assigning. Everyone has to take on their own. Some organizations mention that the Scrum Master is the one who is going to assign. So in a simple way, if I want to answer your question, Santosh, there is no sequence. But in general, people start with a D because that is going to give the base. Any other questions here? Did you get clarity, Santosh? All right. Any questions? Please let me know. Okay. So here you can see that we are talking about the AE term, right? So AE term is going to be the name of the particular event or reported term for the adverse event. If someone asks what are going to be the examples for this particular one, I can say that these are all the examples. Let's say someone says there are going to be the examples. Maybe we can take this as it is. So these are going to be the examples. Maybe not all, 1 or 2 we can take. So there is going to be a subject, All right, this is the one. So we have the subject, we have the domain, we have the unique subject identifier, we have the AE sequence. AE group not required for now, so I'm just taking it out. And now you can see that the examples are going to be, you have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, all these are going to be the AE terms here. All right, you can add your headache, pounding headache, back pain for 6 hours, pulmonary embolism. You can add anything. You can add anything. So, but this is going to be the simplest example where we can understand how this particular one will work. Right. So simply AE term is going to be it is going to be a topic variable. It describes your entire domain. It focuses on your entire domain. Simply it is going to capture the events. That's it. All right. Now, the most important thing, AE out. AE out stands for outcome of your adverse event. Right? Some event happened, right? What is going to be the outcome of it? What happened because of this particular event? All right. So you can also call it as a description of a detailed description of the outcome of an event. It's a very detailed one. You are going to describe it. Right? So you have something called control terminologies, right? What do you mean by control terminologies? Means what and all allowed, right? Mean to say, there are a lot of descriptions I can provide for an event, correct? But what are them? Are there any control terminology? You have that Excel, remember? I have shared one Excel with all of you. In that Excel, what are the permissible values will be there for each of the variable. So here, in our case, the control terminologies are going to be recovered. It is going to be recovered or resolved. The patient got recovered, the issue got resolved. Right. Number two, the patient is not recovered. The patient is not recovered. At the same time, my issue is not resolved. Number three, the worst thing, death. It is a death, right? The most important thing that you need to understand here is these are only these three. Either the issue got resolved or not. Maybe you can also see here the AE out. I don't know whether I have mentioned it in all or not, because here it is. Can you see this? Recovered, resolved, recovered, resolved, recovered, resolved. In all these three cases, the patient got recovered. Now let's see here whether I have mentioned it or not. Yeah, here it is. There is another one. You can see resolved, recovered or resolved, recovered or resolved. This is the another event. This is also possible. That is going to be recovering. The patient is in the recovery mode. The issue under the resolving mode, right? But most important thing that you need to understand here is going to be if it is going to be a death. If it is going to be a death, right? How do you give the death date? There is going to be a death date. You remember in the DM domain we have seen DTH, DTC, death date time in the character format. Remember? Suppose if it is going to be a DM domain, because we already know this, right? In the DM domain, right, the death date is captured as death date stored in, right, or considered as is derived or populated from DTH DTC, death date and time in character format. Because why we are talking is it is different from each of the domains. Just give me a moment. Now, so we are talking about how to report death date. So if it is going to be a DM domain, the death date populated directly as your death date and time variable will be there directly. You can populate that, right? But if it is going to be coming from the disposition domain, let's say DS, right? Because this will be populated from multiple domains, right? It can capture anywhere. If it is going to be a disposition domain, I can say that here, when I can put this means if DS term, there also there is going to be a term like AE term, like that, there is going to be DS term. If DS term is going to be death, Then we are going to report disposition STD, that is your start date and time in character format, will be considered as death date. Because I'm just trying to give you in what domain how we are going to report. If it is a DS domain, that the death date is going to be directly populated from your variable. If it is going to be a disposition domain, you need to check what is going to be my DS term. If it is equal to 10, then your disposition domain start date and time will be calculated as will be considered as your date. Then the same. What about AE domain? Because we are talking about AE domain, right? So here, how you're going to you're going to do this? Here, let me copy this. Instead of DS term, I have AE term. My AE term is going to be there. In that particular case, sorry, my AE out, we are talking about AE out, right? If AE out is going to be death, in that case, I can say that my adverse events end END TC. This will be considered as your death date. So for each domain, the death date population is going to be different. Since we are talking about this outcome, I'm talking about this. DM domain, directly DTH DTC. If it is a DS domain, this is the one. If it is going to be AE domain, here is how you're going to do it. Any questions from anyone? Is this understandable? Can I have a quick confirmation? All of you are able to understand this? Right. Then I have the next one, which is nothing but from here onwards, these are going to be simple, right? EAE-SEV, the name itself is telling you, it is going to be like, what is the severity? What is going to be the severity? If not, what is the intensity? Both of them are going to be the synonyms only. So most of the time you can call this as a what is the severity or what is the intensity, right? So simply if someone asks, it is going to be the severity or intensity of the adverse event. All right. Okay. So we need to talk about this based on the control terminology. Means what are the permissible values? What values you can allow here, right? So simply as per the control terminologies, if I go with this particular one, there are multiple things which can allow here. So the simple ones are going to be either it can be mild, or you can call it as moderate, or it can be severe, right? Even you can see here. If I go to this, maybe here I can mention it. So here it is. So AESEV, right? It is going to be, you can see here for both the patients, so same patient on two different cases, you can see that one event it is going to be nausea and another event is going to be vomiting. So nausea severity is going to be severe, whereas vomiting is going to be moderate. Headache is going to be correct. So it can be anything. The severity can be anything, right? So that depends on the what for what event what is going to be the severity. Clear, guys? Right? For the same patient, for the different events, the severity is going to be different. All right. The next one, you can call it as AEREL. Means simply if I want to talk about this particular one, what is the adverse event relation to the study drug? What is that? Adverse event relation towards study drug. What do you mean by study drug? The drug that we are actually testing, the treatment that we are actually giving. What is this adverse event relation towards this particular study drug? Right. So someone, if we want to go with, in detail way, if someone asks us, right, in detail way, right, what is going to be the investigator opinion, right, to the casualty of the treatment, to the casualty of your event to the treatment? Meaning, So investigator is the one who is going to provide the opinion, right? So simply I can say that investigator's opinion, right, to the casualty. What is the casualty of the event? But again, the event is happened to the treatment. So you have provided some treatment. For this particular treatment, right, an event happened. What is the casualty of this particular event? That we are going to record. So all it is going to do is going to be investigator opinion to the casualty of the event to the respective treatment that you are giving. All right. So what are going to be the control terminologies for this? If someone asks what are going to be the control terminologies for this, we can simply say that yes, it is related. Number two means to the treatment that we are giving, this event that is happened is straight away related. Number two, it is not related. So you are giving the treatment for something called diabetes, right? But the patient got fever. Not related at all. Not related at all, right? Let's say you are giving the treatment to the patient, but suddenly the patient is feeling totally dehydrated because you are giving high dosage of your medicine, right? So related, right? Suddenly patient is feeling something like he's having some headache, possibly related, right? Because there are changes, there are a lot of changes in the sugar levels in your body. Obviously it is going to be related, right? He got stomach pain, unlikely related, may or may not, because of the tablets, because of the food intake that has changed. It may be related, unlikely related. All these are going to be our controlled terminologies. Is that clear? Right? That is, there is event happened. Is that event happened because of the study drug or the treatment that you are giving? If yes, this is going to be the, what is going to be the investigator opinion on that? Record it. That is nothing but your AEREL. Now, AEREL, NST. REL stands for related to the study drug, correct? This is not related to your study drug. What is that? Relationship, adverse event. Simply I can say that adverse event relationship towards non-study drug. To non-study drug. What do you mean by non-study drug? Or non-study drug, or you can also call it as a non-study treatment. What you can say that? All right. It can be a free text or it can be anything. Simply we can say that the treatment we are giving is something, but patient, like let's say that we are treating the patient towards the diabetes. Patient felt he is having some stomach pain. We have given a different medicine. That is not going to be a study drug, right? Because of that particular medicine, he got a different event. That event we are talking about. The event occurred not because of the study drug or treatment, but it is related to something else, right? But this is going to be, this is also okay. So this is also investigator opinion only, right? But may not be related to the study drug. That is investigator opinion to the casualty of the event, but not due to the study treatment or not due to the treatment or study drug. Because this event happened not because of the study drug or not because of the treatment that we are giving. It happened because of something else, right? Most of the times, we can also say that may be reported as a free text. What do you mean by free text? There won't be any controlled terminology like before, like related, non-related, possibly related, unlikely. Like this, we don't have any predefined list of terms. That is what I told here. Either a pre-specified list of terms like this, We talked about here, right? Recovering, not recovered, not recovered, recovered. These are predefined lists. If not, it is going to be a free text. If someone says that only what is exactly is going to be the pretext, how do you define it? If someone says that the pretext can be, let's say that the patient has used aspirin, right? So due to aspirin, as simple as that. Nothing else. Simply you can write like the investigator simply write as, hey, this happened because of the aspirin. The patient has taken aspirin, because of that it happened. As simple as that. Clear, guys? So we simply talked about very few things here. A sequence number, it is unique number, we can generate automatically. ADaM, that is nothing but name of the event or name of the adverse event. It can be of anything: nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, headache, body pain. All these will be called as ADaM. AE out, what is the outcome of your adverse event, right? So it can be, the control terminologies are going to be recovered, or it is not recovered, recovering, death. If it is going to be a death, how to report the death date? If it is a DM domain, directly death date, time and death date and time in character format. DS domain, it is going to be death. If it is the AE out, it is going to be, if AE out is equal to death, then it is going to be MD. Then severity. AESEV stands for the severity. That is how intense it is, how severe it is. There are control terminologies, that is allowed values: mild, it can be moderate, or it can be severe. AEREL, how the event is related to the study, treatment, or drug that you are giving. It can be related, not related, possibly related, unlikely. How the event, what is the event relationship to non-study drug or the treatment? That is the investigator opinion to the casualty of the drug, casualty of the event, but not due to the treatment or study that they are giving. It may be because of anything else. In that particular case, it is more, there is no control terminology here. Mostly it is going to be because of, mostly it is going to be a free text, and the free text is going to be due to aspirin or due to whatever the comment that investigator would like to pass. Clear, everyone? All of you are able to follow this? Questions? Can I go with the next one? All right, wonderful. This one has a lot of variables, guys. This one is, there's a long list of variables we need to discuss, but most of the times are very relevant to us. We try to go with the examples like this. I also give this particular example so we can pick it up from here, and post that we can write your code. Okay, but we need to understand all this. Then we have something called AECONTRT. So this is nothing but, what is the concomitant treatment? Concomitant treatment mean to say that additional treatment. Simply concomitant means nothing but the additional treatment. Correct? Concomitant treatment or additional treatment which is given to the patient or which is given to the subject, right? This is, I can say that, how I can say that, is this the treatment? It is mostly going to be like permissible. Maybe I can write like this: permissible values are control terminologies. The control terminologies are going to be only two, either yes or no. But when you are saying yes or no, there is always going to be a question, right? For the question, you are going to write this yes or no, correct? So we can say that, is this another treatment, whatever the treatment that we are talking about, additional treatment. So this additional treatment given because of the occurrence of the event. So the event happened is headache. The patient got headache. So to treat this particular headache, have you given any additional treatment? If yes, why? If no, so it is all about, you have given some concomitant treatment, but why you have given it? Because of the event occurred, because of that you are giving it. If yes, just put Y there. If not, just put no there. Suppose if I say that example for this particular one, maybe let's see if I have anything here. We don't have it. No, we don't have it. No problem. I'll put one here. For an example, let's say that maybe here somewhere we have written the patient details, right? Let's use this in this one. So here is the guy, right? The domain is there, sequential number is there. Let's say all of them, the event is going to be the same. Or let's go with the different patient IDs. 222, the study ID is going to be the same. Unique subject ID, we'll just change it. 7, 8. There are 3 patients. So in this particular case, sequence number is going to be the same. At each patient level, it is going to be the same. Let's say all of them got nausea only, all of them, right? But what we did is, we have given the additional treatment only for the first guy. For the remaining 2 people, we haven't given it. Let's say that the person says that maybe it depends on the severity also. Maybe it depends on the severity also. Let's say that for this particular guy, maybe I can add severity also here, so it will totally make sense. So here it is going to be mild, severe. Here it is going to be mild. Here also it is going to be mild. Since the event is same, but the severity wise, for the first patient, it is going to be a very severe. So we have given the additional treatment. Maybe we just put one sari down to him. For the remaining 2 people, it is going to be a mild one. It is going to be a mild one. Since it is going to be a mild one, we said that, okay, there is no treatment. Even the patient accepted that there is not going to be no treatment. Is that clear? Where this concomitant or additional treatment comes to the picture, right? And why it is different, why it is going to be yes for few and why it is going to be no, because it depends on the severity as well, right? Now, the next thing is going to be, any questions here, guys? Why yes few times and why no? Clear, right? Right. The next one is AEACN. Simple. ACN stands for the action, right? What is the action taken? What is the action taken with study treatment? So you are going with the study treatment, right? For the study treatment, what is the action taken? If I want to go in detail, what are the changes you made it to the study treatment as a result of this particular event? Event is happened. I mean to say, it describes changes to the study treatment. What is that? It describes the changes to the study treatment. Why we want to make changes to the study treatment? As a result of the event that already happened. So there is an event happened. Let's say there is a vomiting happen. So because of the vomiting, let's say we have given the 1 dosage of injection to the person. Let's say 2.5 mg of the dosage we have given. The moment we have given the injection, within 2 minutes of the time, the subject got vomited, right? Or the moment he take the drug, the pill itself came out. The pill itself came out as part of the vomit. So the pill doesn't have any effect, right? So what do you need to do? We need to change the study treatment now. That is, the study treatment says that the guy has to take this 500 mg of the pill, right? Morning once, evening once. Let's say that 8 a.m., 8 p.m. So this is your study drug, the schedule. After 8 a.m., suddenly a vomiting happened. Because of the vomiting, what happens? This doesn't have any effect, right? No effect for study drug. So what we need to do? We need to check whether the drug is working or not. What we need to do then? Again, by 9 a.m., the new action taken is by 9 a.m. Again, we supplied this 500 mg of the pill. Correct? And this one we can call it as the action that we have taken. Is that clear? Everyone, can I understand? Can I get a confirmation that you guys are able to understand this particular one? So what is the action, right? So to treat this particular one, I'm supposed to give 500 mg of the pill to this particular subject, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. with the 12 hours of the duration. Right after 8 a.m., the moment the taken pill is taken, he got vomited. Because of that, the pill doesn't have any effect. So for the next 12 hours, we don't know how the subject body is going to respond because we don't have the pill inside the body. So what we should do now? Again, by 9 a.m., we have given some delay, and by 9 a.m., we have given the same 500 mg of the pill again. This is the action that we have taken to the study treatment because it is the change happened to the study treatment. Ideally, the patient has taken 3 pills, one by 8 a.m., one by 9 a.m., and again another by 8 p.m. Instead of 2, we have got 3 doses. Is that clear, guys? All of you are able to understand this? Right? Remember, this AECAN is specifically for the relationship to the study treatment. What is the study treatment for that particular one? It is straight away related. And again, what are the control terminologies? We have the control terminologies for this, right? So what are going to be the permissible values? If I want to see to that, I can say that the permissible values are going to be, because it is mostly related to the drug, right? Study drug, right? I can say that drug withdrawn. Number 2, the dosage is increased, or because of the severity, the dosage is decreased, that is reduced. Or I can say that dose not change. Whatever happened, no, we'll give the same dosage. Dose not change. This case, there's no change in the dosage. Correct? And finally, the last one, I don't know what happened. Some unknown thing happened. It can be not applicable. When you cannot give the confirmation, we can go with these 2 things. Clear, guys? Right? The same one, slightly, if I change it, a small change if I make to this particular one, that is nothing but AEACN, that is action, OTH. OTH stands for other. This is the action that is taken related to the study treatment. Correct? This is going to be other action taken. Means if I want to say in detail, I can say that it is going to be the one which describes other actions, taken as a result of the event, but most important thing, this is the what we have to take, most as a result of the event, that are not related to the dosage or that are not related to the study treatment. That is, those are unrelated to dose, or those are unrelated to simply subject treatment. This we can write it. Simply we can put this. Okay. And again, because these are not the, what I say, predefined list, we can simply say that usually it is going to be a free text. Whatever the doctor or investigator writes it, that is going to be considered. For an example, investigator writes that, let's say the patient is hospitalized, or he can say that treatment is unblinded, because we can write anything, right? Treatment unblinded. Who is writing this? Who is writing this? This is given by your investigator itself. Someone say that, hey, something is wrong here, let me just inform the primary care physician, right? Simply we can say that primary care physician notified or informed. Done. Any free text you can write it here. Any free text you can write it here. All right. Now let's go to the next event, which is nothing but next variable, which is nothing but most important one. Because of the outcome of this, we have the dependent variables. What is that? This variable you can call it as AESCR. That is how serious the event is. That is serious. What is going to be the seriousness of the event? Okay. We can simply say that, is it a serious event? We can write a question. Is this a serious event? Okay. What is going to be the possible options? Control terminologies. There are only two control values here. What are them? Either it can be yes or it can be no. It can be a serious event or it cannot be a serious event. Correct? But remember, if it is a serious event, if it is a serious event, to measure that particular one, below variables come to the picture. What is that? If it is going to be a serious event, if it is going to be yes, that is, if your AESCR is equal to yes, in that particular case, these variables also come to the play. What are they? All are going to be yes or no only. That is nothing but AESDTH. You can see that DTH. The moment you can see DTH, you can understand it is going to be a death. That is, did the serious event result in death? What is that? Did the serious event result in death? Because of the event, the person has died. Again, control terminologies are going to be yes or no. Correct? Similarly, we can say that AE, yes, serious, S stands for seriousness there. Okay. HOSP. You can understand what is that HOSP. HOSP stands for hospitalized. What is that? Hospitalized. Correct. So simply you can say that, did the serious event, whatever the event that you're talking about, did the serious event requires or prolongs hospitalization? Is that the case? Again, the control terminologies are going to be yes or no. Yes, it is going to be a serious one. The patient need to continue in the hospital for a few more days, or we haven't admitted the patient into the hospital yet. Because of this particular event, we are joining him into the hospital. Then AES, adverse event serious, followed by life. Meaning, did this particular one is a life-threatening one? Was the serious event a life-threatening? Again, the control terminologies are going to be the same. Control terminologies are going to be yes or no. All these are happening because of the seriousness happened to the event, right? Again, AES, CAN. CAN stands for the cancer, right? Again, we are going to ask the same question, or we are going to record the same question. What is going to be the question? Was the serious event, right? Was the serious event associated with is this one associated with the development of cancer? If yes, again the control terminologies are going to be the same. Yes or no, right? Then again we are going to say AES CONG. What is the CONG? Anyone? Birth defect. Simply we can call it as congenital anomaly, or in a generic words, if I want to say, is there a birth defect? Because of this, it happened. Again, the control terminals are going to be yes or no. Or you can also talk about adverse event seriousness about disability, that is DISAB. Is this happened because of this particular event? Is it happened significant incapacity or disability? Maybe you can write as it is. Was the serious event result in, since these are straight away, I'm writing all these at one stretch, guys. Result in significant or result in disability? If yes, yeah, you need to record that. All right, these are at one stage. Now we are going to talk about two more things. These are also related to the seriousness. These are called OD. OD stands for because this serious event occurred because of the overdosage. Was the serious event occurs with an overdose? Again, control terminals are going to be yes or no. Finally, there is one last thing which is going to be AESMIE. That is anything other than this. What is that? Anything other than this. Do additional categories for seriousness apply? That is any other medically important serious event. Is that the case? If I want to write it in the similar fashion, I can say that was the serious event is missing here. Was the serious event that we are talking about, was the serious event related to any additional categories? Or I can simply say that any additional categories for seriousness other than this, whatever we have mentioned at the top, other than this, anything else also will be applied? If that is the case, we can say yes or no. All these AESMIE or AESOD or your Kong, or it is going to be cancer related or life threatening, or it is going to be hospitalization or death, all these is going to be applicable only if all these are going to come to the picture, only if your seriousness is going to be seriousness is going to be why. Only for this will come to the picture. If it is not the case, it will come. Clear? Let's go with one last variable and we can wind up the session here today. One last variable. Okay, we can call it as AEGRP ID. Nothing but group ID. Simply, I can call it as a group ID. What is this group ID? How to report it? This I can say that used to tie together a block of related records. Maybe I can simply say that used to tie together a block of related records together. I think this is sufficient. Maybe I can give you the example here. Can you see this particular one? The patient is going to be the same, right? It happened over the different time periods, but you can see this particular one here. First, he got nausea. Only once it happened. The event happened only once. So we just leave it as it is. There is no group ID. You can see the group ID is blank. Now, vomiting happened 3 times. For 3 events, all the 3 events are belongs to vomiting. I can say that the group ID for the vomiting I'm giving is 1. Diarrhea. Diarrhea happened twice. The event occurred twice. For this, but to tie all the diarrhea events together, we have given 2. To tie all the vomiting events together, we have given 1. Nausea happened only once, so I haven't assigned any of the group ID. You understand what is called group ID? It is a number which can be used to tie the related events together. Make sense, all of you? Cool. So we pretty much covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So close to 19 variables we have discussed today. Still there are few more, not few more, there are another 20 I can say. If you see this your implementation guide, so there are 3 pages I can say. This is the first page, second page, and third page. Even fourth page is there. But I'm not going in the same order that is mentioned here. I just grouping them as per the comfort, as per the convenience. Try to stitch each other together. Tomorrow we are going to start with this MEDDRA. These are nothing but dictionary derived variables, right? What is going to be the dictionary variable? There are a lot of things which comes under this. These are as per your MEDDRA. All these variables together we will talk in one place, and followed by we will go with the demand. So another 20 variables will be there. Tomorrow we can complete this theoretical. Okay, and day after tomorrow we'll go with the coding. This is how it is. Any questions from anyone? This notes I will not send today. I will send it tomorrow. Once we complete the theoretical class, I will send it. Okay. Tomorrow also same time, guys, 8:30. Tomorrow we'll extend little later, like till 10 o'clock we can continue, and we will finish up all the remaining tasks. Okay. Thank you everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.